Hello everyone, I wanted to share with you my setup for 2023, everything from the peripherals I use to the settings in Csgo in NVIDIA and everything within, so let's check it out. So this is my setup that I use pretty much every day. I use two monitors, this is the third one, but that's from streaming, so I use it only while streaming. I got a huge ass mousepad that is just helping me to keep everything tidy on the table. I don't know, it just helps me. On top of that, I have this one that I'm currently testing. I just received it, I think, 2 days ago. It's new mousepad from BenQ, Logitech keyboard. It's wireless, but I use it as a wired one. I feel more natural with it, but on the other hand, for mousepad, I prefer wireless ones. So this is my Razer, the newest one, V3 Tether, whatever it's called. A Logitech headset as well. The chair from the Noble chairs is still from my old Mouseboards team, so I'm using that one, but I feel really comfortable with it, so I don't feel like changing. I just cover up the logo so no one sees it, but it's all right. For the table, I know some of you will ask, and that is the height of the table. So I'm using the one from IKEA. It's called Skarsta, I believe, and it's adjustable. Just for the sake of the video, I want to measure it for you because I honestly don't know myself, but it's 76 centimeters height. I don't know how to convert it into anything that American uses, so there it is in centimeters. I think for the setup, that's it. I use the newest monitor, which is from BenQ, the 360 Hz. It's the new one, I'm just testing it, let's see how it goes. And this one is my old one, which is 240 Hz, and I use it just as a secondary monitor. It's really easy for me to juggle between, increases, you know, productivity and everything, and helps me with having Stratbook here while we're playing the game or practice here with the team. So it's really nice to have two, and yeah, I guess we can go straight into NVIDIA settings. By the way, everything can be found down in the description below, what I use, exact models, because I don't know myself, oftentimes I just forget everything, so it's gonna be down there just for you. I'll start with the image settings. I use it tuned out to the quality, so all the way to the right. For the 3D settings, everything for me is in default other than one thing, and that is that I turn vertical synchronization off. That's everything I do pretty much. So whenever I come to a new PC, I hit restore, and only thing I change is vertical sync. For surround physics, I don't anything change here. Change resolution. What I usually use is this one with the 360 Hz, but for the sake of the video, so the flickering doesn't affect too much, I use 100 Hz because that's how it is for the recording, so it's nice for you. But 360 Hz is what I use. For color settings, everything's default here. I know people love to tune digital vibrance up to like 80% or even 100% sometimes, but I figured that it's just such a pain for my eyes. I get tired so quickly, and my eyesight was just getting worse and worse. At least that's what I heard from others. So I go back to 50% and I tune it, on the other hand, in the monitor. So I will show you that later. What else? This is the next one. Oh yeah, adjust desktop size and position. So what I use is scaling on display, and I use full screen, and I'm going to as well override the scaling mode by games and programs. So that means whenever I launch CS, whatever resolution I put in, it's always going to be stretched. I've never played with the black bars, and I don't want to try it really. I prefer stretched CS, so that's what I'm going for. For the mouse settings, let's start with the control panel actually. Pretty standard here. I use 6 out of 11 Sense, which is I think default. I think on new Windows, there's actually more than that, and you can choose different kind of sensitivity, so I'm not sure how it works for that, but for my Windows 11, this is what I use. I mean Windows 10. I turn off enhanced pointer precision, so mouse acceleration is off, and that's all I do pretty much here. Yeah, let's move into Razer Synapse, which is the driver for the Razer mouse that I'm using. I used to use Logitech before, so I'm pretty new to Synapse altogether, but this is what I use here. For the performance, what I use is 400 dpi, polling rate is 1000 Hz, and for calibration, I use it just dead center, so around middle. I think that's pretty much it. Nothing too fancy here, everything's pretty much on default. I also try to disable the buttons that are changing my DPI. so I prevent it to not change it by accident during the game or something. So this is important. Whenever I come to a new computer at the LAN, I try to change it. Next one is Steam settings. The main point is launch properties. I use only 3 kinds of launch properties. It is dash no width, dash tick rate 128, and dash allow third-party software 1. So what this does is dash no width means that whenever you launch CS, it doesn't give you this annoying intro, so it saves you time while loading CS, and I do that a lot, so saving me a lot of time, hopefully. Then dash tick rate 128 means whenever you start your private server, offline server, the tick rate is 128 as opposed to 64 as on matchmaking, so the grenades land on the spot where they should land, as if you would be playing, official game. And allow third-party software whenever you want to stream, OBS, whatever, shadow play, it allows you to get this third-party software get up and running. Last thing is the settings of the Steam itself in-game. Whenever you, by default, when you shift tab, it gets you this overlay up, which I pretty much hate because every time you walk with shift and you want to check a scoreboard, it goes up. So I immediately change it to the key that I use, and that is delete, right next to the mousepad. So that's everything I change in Steam. And I think we can launch CS and go in there. So we're in CS right now, and 2 things I want to show is video settings, obviously, and then my config and auto exec. For video settings, let's go into settings menu, video, and this is what I use. So aspect ratio 16:9, resolution full HD. Display mode is full screen for me. Let's move into advanced video. So medium, low, high, high is what I remember, probably the best settings that one can use in order to see properly through mollies and HE grenades. This is what I use for pretty much like 2 years already right now. Texture streaming is disabled for me, boost player contrast enabled, multi-core rendering enabled, 8 times is the anti-aliasing mode. FXA is disabled for me, but whenever you change resolution, I think it auto switches to enabled, so every time you switch resolution or anything here in the video settings, you have to go back and disable it by yourself. Texture filtering mode 16x, and then disabled, and use Uber shades enabled. This is what I use for, as I said, 2 to 3 years, and I don't really bother changing it up until the point where someone tells me actually with a proof that something else is better. But I've never felt any FPS drops here or on any other tournament. So this is what I'm going with pretty much all the time. Now, config and auto exec. These 2 things will be down in the description below. I did already a video about it, how to create your own binds and auto exec, and most of them that I used in those videos, I actually use myself. You can find your way how to paste it into correct folder so it works, and all I do is pretty much I check if my config and auto exec registers, and that is if as soon as one of my aliases work, it's all good to go. So I have alias for clear, which clears out the whole scoreboard, but instead of that, I just type C as a shortcut for it. If it works, it should clear the whole console, and it works. So I'm good to go pretty much to connect to the server and test all my binds. As I said, config and auto exec down in the description, and let's head into, let's say, Mirage. As soon as I join the server, I generally like to feel how the sense is looking, if everything is out of ordinary or not, and then I tweak it. I go back and turn off CS in case I need to tweak some stuff in the control panel or NVIDIA settings. But generally when I join the server, this is where I hit the monitor settings. So what I'm doing here is, 1 second. So as I said, this is a new monitor. I'm still getting used to it, but I think it should be pretty fine. What I'm using is mode FPS 1. I use it pretty much every time. And then I go into my own settings. So for color, black equalizer, I get it on 12, color vibrance on 12. This is something that you want to increase if you want to have those digital vibrances that we spoke about in NVIDIA control panel. If you want it higher, make this number higher, okay? So as you can see, the saturation of the game went really high, but I use it for 12. I really like it in the mild area. Low blue light for me is 0 always. Gamma 3 is what I use for gamma settings. Color temperature is normal. For picture, dynamic accuracy is premium for me. I know not a lot of monitors have this option, but this monitor comes with it, and I really like trying it out. So this is what I'm going for. For brightness, I have 100, but for contrast, it's half that, so 50. Sharpness, I like 7. I don't really like to go over 7 because some text in Windows gets really blurry, and or on the other hand, too sharp for me, and it looks really weird. So 7 is the sweet spot for me, I found. And for AMA, I use high. Later here, display, nothing's really, you know, too important. I feel like this is just information that you would like to see if you have a new monitor and you're not sure what hertz you're on and stuff like that. Most important thing is probably the picture and color, and this is what I'm paying attention closest when I'm traveling to tournaments and we have a new monitor on every one. It's usually BenQ and it's different model from time to time, but the general gist of it is always the same, so I'm trying to keep them as consistent as possible. And these were the monitor settings. Now the last thing is testing actually everything. So as I said, I know I'm using my own config, but I still want to try if my jump bind works and the sensitivity is fine and resolution is fine. So I go on the empty server and I throw a couple of nades, make sure that I use all of the jump throws. So it's the normal jump throw, then the double click jump throw. I don't have any lineup right now on Mirage, but just testing if right click jump throw works. It should be all fine. Then some of my aliases when I want to buy something, such as nades, it should drop me the nades. All these things, I know it works right now because obviously I'm at home, but sometimes when I travel to LAN and it gets chaotic and you're, you know, being hurried by admins to join up to the server, it gets really stressy, and sometimes I don't have time to do it. It happened to me actually once that I played the whole game without jump bind, knowing, and I was just kind of whiffing the smokes. It was kind of annoying, not to me, but my teammates died, so sorry to that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything what I use and I'm gonna use for 2023, and if something happens, I'm probably gonna update it myself and let you know, but this is what I'm going for the next season. So thanks for watching, and I hope it answers a lot of your questions. I'm not too techy about like stuff that is, let's say, monitor settings, but what I did is just a little bit of research, and I asked some friends around and other pro players what they use, and I try to go by that. And yeah, I'm pretty fine with everything that is set up with my CS. So I hope it works for you as well. Bye bye.